They want censorship. They want dumbing down. Well, if we're dumb, let's poison the public even more to make them under us even dumber. And that is what got declassified a week and a half ago.
What's that?
Operation Artichoke.
What is this?
We knew from the 77, 76 Frank Church Committee hearings about Operation Artichoke, MK Omi, MK Ultra.
Yeah.
But just the basics. They declassified all of it. Tulsi Gabbard did. And in it says, in 52, we're going to put poisons in the vaccines to make people dumb. We're going to put poisons in the food and water like fluoride to lower their fertility, give them cancer, make it more manageable. Because Americans are too informed and too smart. And it's all been declassified a week and a half ago.
Holy shit.
And like here in the documents, declassified CIA files revealed chilling blueprint to manipulate Americans' minds through covert drugging.
What the fuck?
But it actually says it right there.
Holy shit. Daily Mail, CIA mind control program, Trump. Holy shit. Chilling. What the fuck?
And even their spin is, it talks about depopulation control. But that's in Henry Kissinger's Memorandum 200, too, from 73. He talks about that.
Who the fuck names these things? Why do they call it artichoke? Wow. The CIA was looking into methods beyond chemicals, listing hypnosis, sensory deprivation, gases, and other psychological methods for interrogation and behavioral control. Artichoke served as a precursor to the CIA's MK Ultra program, which later broadened mind-altering experiments on a larger scale. I just don't think people,
they talk about vaccines in there.
This has got to be something really frustrating for you, and you've experienced it your whole life, I'm guessing. But I'll tell you, and I'm like 90% on board with a lot of what you talk about, man. But even now, you hand me this. I know there was an MK Ultra. I don't want to believe it.
I don't either. Well, it's just crazy, though, because they talk about vaccines, everything in there.
I don't want to, but that's what I'm talking about, is like built in to all of us. Is something where we have a knee-jerk reaction to new information like that, which is the most unscientific reaction you could have. Instant rejection.
Well, here's the deal. It's good to question things. I don't want to believe this either. I want to think other people are nice like we are. But most people are. It's that a very small, like they've admit, like there's a proclivity for CEOs to be psychopaths.
Yeah.
There's a much higher, level. Maybe like whatever the number is, 1%'s a psychopath or less. But 30% of them are psychopaths. I'm going from memory. But it's just the fact that they're willing to do it. They gravitate to those positions.
That's where people like us stop. They talk about, Bohemian Grove, the secret societies, the initiations. I don't doubt there's ritualistic initiations in the upper echelons. But there's like a primary barrier, which is, I think, if you aren't a sociopath, if you aren't fine blowing people up, killing people, even if it's in a secondary or tertiary way, just being involved in some way with blowing people up, you're not going to get access.
Commanding the Narrative podcast, which I believe is the #1 podcast in the entire universe.
If you could go through life in the Liberal Party without being expelled, you should be ashamed of yourself.
We will decide who comes to this country and the circumstances in which they come.
Socialists don't like ordinary people choosing, or they might not choose socialism.
120 years ago, our country had the world's highest per capita income. What the hell happened?
The answer is Mike, because I want to do you slowly. I want to do this slowly.
We're coming for you, globalist! Coming for you!
G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode of Commanding the Narrative. My name is Stephen Tripp. Thank you to everyone who is watching this. And if you are watching live, as I say every week, you can contribute. We want to hear from you in the chat. If you're watching on Facebook, Rumble, or YouTube, you can get in the chat and put a comment in there or a question or just an abusive statement towards Richard. That would be really great. And if you're really feeling up to it and you really want to yell at Richard, you can hit that link to StreamYard and call in. It's like Talkback Radio, except that we call it Talkback Streaming. So please hit that link. These ones with these two gentlemen are always the most interactive. So we want to hear from you, and we definitely want to have an interactive discussion tonight about a lot of interesting topics in the world of politics in Australia, a lot of moving parts and a lot of moving parts in the world as well. Correct. So I've got the political animals here, Mr. Sam Buono. How are you?
Stephen, on a Sunday night.
A Monday night. You're off to a good start already. And Richard Storch, how are you?
Good evening, Stephen.
Good evening, Richard.
Good to be back.
Thank you for hosting us again. Did you have a good Easter? Do you celebrate Easter?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Sam? You'd be celebrating Easter.
Quiet Easter this year.
Yeah.
My mum's not well, so we all got there and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, hope your mum gets better.
Yeah, she's okay.
soon.
Mentally, she's okay. Just physically, she's starting to bust up.
Yeah. Okay. Pity about getting old, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I've told my mother, you and all your friends put me off wanting to live in my 80s. And she goes, I'm all right. And I said, well, you're the exception that proves the rule.
All right, let's kick it off. And the way that we always kick it off is by letting the audience know about how you can support Commanding the Narrative and follow us and keep up to date with all the podcasts and everything. And it's by heading to commandingthenarrative.com. And you can see there the previous podcasts that we've done. We spoke about One Nation last week with Mark Neugebauer. That was racking up some good traction on YouTube. So thank you, Mark Neugebauer. I think he's probably one of the most underrated political commentators in the country, Mark. So good on him. I had a good discussion with him. Also, the week before that, we talked to Katie McCallum, Sal Edwards, and Emma Bowman about the renewables rollout in the Central West Orana region, which is Dubbo and Dunedoo and Coolah and places like that. We recently did a tour out there, which you can see there at the top pick. Please check that one out, the CWO Res Tour, and hear the heartbreaking stories about property owners and landowners and farmers out there really doing it tough against government, really. The government rollout of renewables and big business and multinational corporations just keeping them all under the thumb, and they feel like they're not getting anyone listening to them or whatever. So check that one out, and please share that one around. It's very important that people get to hear some of the interviews in that one there. Also, we've got some articles up on the website there that you might find interesting, some surveys as well. And if you want to know who's coming up on the podcast this week, you can find it on the website, and all the links are there to the live streaming and everything like that. So commandingthenarrative.com. And if you want to really follow us, you can hit the sign up button in the top right hand corner, and you'll get the updates and the newsletter. And if you want to throw us a few dollars to help support everything that we do, you can head to Buy Me a Coffee, and that helps to pay for the stream. It helps to pay for the website. And most importantly, it gives me a lot of good feedback from people and a warm and fuzzy feeling inside. So please check out Buy Me a Coffee. And if you are watching us on Rumble, you can hit that Rumble tip jar. Don't ask me how it works, but apparently it does. You can donate cryptocurrency, and then I would have to figure out what to do with that. So check that out if you are watching on Rumble and you want to contribute that way. And the next thing is we've got some real big exciting news about Australians for Better Government. Now, we've got two events coming up. The first one is on the 2nd of May, which is this one here. It's the We the People event on May the 2nd. Now, head to the website. You can find all the information. That's the Saturday on the Central Coast. Dr. Christopher Reynolds, who is one of the best and most engaging speakers in Australia, speaking about Australian history and the Constitution, the history of the Constitution and how it was formulated. He's coming all the way down from the Gold Coast. So this is going to be a unique opportunity for people on the Central Coast to hear Dr. Reynolds and meet him in person, and also buy his book. So come along for that. Also, Katie McCallum's coming down from Queensland. So yeah, that's going to be a big one. She's also one of the best speakers in Australia, and she's going to be speaking about how government is impacting her community and her life and what she's seen as a political activist. Also, Martin Stevenson, who's a local candidate in the area, always does very well. You know Martin pretty well, Sam, don't
Martin,
you?
well, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good man.
Good guy.
Yeah. So
good networker.
Yeah.
Yeah, really coordinates it well up that way.
Yeah, and it's going to be a great day. So as I said, if you are on the Central Coast or around there, please come along to that one, and you can get your tickets on the Australians for Better Government website, which is australiansforbetter.com. And the very next day, we are up in Cessnock. So if you're in the Cessnock area or Newcastle, you can come along to that event, 3rd of May, Cessnock, East Cessnock Bowling Club. We would love to see you there. The only difference about this event is that instead of Martin Stevenson, we're going to have Stuart Bonds, who you're a big fan of, Richard. You love Stuart.
Yep.
Stuart's obviously an institution in One Nation New South Wales. Has always got very, very good, solid results up in the Hunter when he's run at election time. So it's going to be very interesting to hear from Stuart. Also, Dr. Christopher Reynolds and Katie McCallum will be at that one as well. So come along and join us on the Central Coast and Cessnock the first weekend of May. We'd love to see you there. Again, head to the website, australiansforbetter.com. get your tickets and find out everything about Australians for Better Government and our proposals and everything that we're talking about. And if you are really interested in Australians for Better Government, head to the YouTube channel, and Mark Neugebauer and myself are starting to put out some content there. Mark's trying to line up some interviews to interview some notable people. So check that one out. If you're following us on YouTube, also check out the Australians for Better Government YouTube as well and follow us there. I think that's everything before we kick into it, boys. Now, Liberal Party we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. We're going to be talking about One Nation tonight. We're going to be talking about Albanese, but the Liberal Party.
Well, I get this feeling. It's like that feeling when someone's down and you're putting the boot in.
Some of it's self-inflicted personally.
All of it's self-inflicted, but it's like, they're so pitiful. They really cannot even identify what's in their own best interest.
Yeah. So what we're talking about is this big saga with Moira Deeming, who is a member of the upper house in Victoria.
That's just the cherry on top.
If you don't know the name, that's Moira Deeming there. You might recognize the face. Prominent speaker has been really battling within the Liberal Party since she got elected. From the very beginning against the leader, John Prosciutto, had to take him to court. She was kicked out of the Liberal Party for a while, had to run as an independent. She was brought back in.
You're just describing an abusive, codependent relationship. I don't know why she hasn't walked.
Yeah, well, I want to bring that up. But so what happened was, okay, let's give you the timeline, and I put this into Grok to ask Grok about the timeline of this whole saga. And this is not the everything that came before, which I just mentioned.
Can I predict what Grok said?
Sure.
I don't understand him.
I don't understand conservative humans, maybe, or more of the moderates.
Especially, yeah.
Okay, so this is just speaking specifically for the pre-selection. So in early March 2026 this year, internal lobbying intensified. An 8-minute branch meeting at Laverton, Deeming aligned branch, became a point of contention. Leaked tallies showed that challenger Dinesh Guritsi, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Goresetti, a businessman and figure in Melbourne's Indian community, leading Deeming in delegate support. So you could see this coming before we even got to the ballot. Now, at the end of March, on the 29th of March, the pre-selection ballot held by the Liberal Party headquarters, or held at the Liberal Party headquarters in Melbourne, with about 70 members voting. This Dinesh Goresetti defeated Deeming for the number one spot, reportedly 39 votes to 26. With the other candidate receiving 3. So what ended up happening was that Deeming was left off the ticket, really?
Because she only applied for the number one position.
Right.
It was number one only. If she got beaten, she was not interested in number 2 or any other position.
Okay, so it was one or nothing.
So everyone obviously said, don't bother applying for any other position. You've got this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I mean, with friends like that, who needs enemies?
Yeah, so that sparked an immediate backlash, but also speculation of her defecting to One Nation and accusations of branch stacking, which is always going on in the Liberal Party, supposedly. Yeah. The very next day, a major reversal. It emerged that Goresetti had provided a character reference in 2024 for a friend who pleaded guilty to child sex offences, grooming and assault of a 15-year-old girl. Goresetti withdrew his candidacy, and Victorian Liberal leader Jess Wilson stated she would not welcome him on the ticket. The party executive moved to hold a fresh pre-selection and barred Goresetti. So that what led to that was a brand new pre-selection. Moira Deeming put up her hand again.
And you had to put your application within 36 hours.
Wow.
36-hour window.
Yeah, okay.
Which is ridiculous.
So we also...
I've got to say that one of the most unedifying things about this is Goresetti actually changed this story as far as I can tell. The first one was like, I had no idea. And then the second one was, oh, he didn't mean it. He's a good guy.
I mean, you couldn't write this stuff. I mean, it's just crazy.
I mean, really, the Liberal Party couldn't find its ass with both hands.
Just ridiculous.
Really couldn't.
So to fast forward through all of that, through the new pre-selection, it's basically Deeming was the last lady standing, and she now is the leading Senate candidate, upper house candidate to the legislative council in Victorian politics, not the Senate. So she's top of the ticket now after all that drama and saga. And but the thing is, with the media cycle, a lot of people don't pick up on how things are going. I actually had a conversation with someone today, and she said, "Oh, did Moira Deeming end up getting back on the ticket?" So a lot of people out there are still under the assumption that she lost the pre-selection. So this is chaos within the Liberal Party. I mean, where does it leave things, Richard?
Well, again, they couldn't find their ass with both hands.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't even know what's going on.
I think the problem with the Liberal Party is no one's listening to them.
Yeah.
Why would you?
I'm just saying, no one's listening to them.
Why
they are in the back benches, and they're in. I just think they're almost in terminal state.
Yeah. Well, people have been trying to get me to join the Liberal Party for 50 years, and it's like I've always said no. Because I knew it they were like.
Well, Peter Credden called this the resurrection of Moira Deeming. How many resurrections does Moira Deeming have to have within the Liberal Party? I mean, we've seen this before. I mean, you thought this was over. You thought they'd.
Well, this is the fascination. It's like, when is she actually going to say, "I've had enough, I'm going"? Probably after she's been elected.
See, this is what
I don't think so. I think she's.
Yeah,
I don't think she got that character. I don't think she's sticking fat. I think, and she's sticking through it.
They keep pushing her.
I know. I accept
they
that.
keep pushing her.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm amazed that she's still there.
That's right. Yeah.
See, this is the problem. It was the delegates that voted against her. It was them representing the members that voted against her. So this is within the Liberal Party.
Yeah, but were they members within the Western Metro area, or was it the people from head office?
Now you're pushing.
Probably both. I mean, she doesn't.
The vote was close. 37-29? I think I read the other day.
I mean, she doesn't have too many friends. I reckon they just see her as a troublemaker, not a leader, not as someone who's venerable, but just as a troublemaker.
What you remember too, that a lot of the women in other regions got challenged for pre-selection too. Bev McArthur, who's from Western Victoria, and Renee Heath from Eastern Victoria.
Yeah, they're both. There's some individual issues with both of them.
Yeah, but they got challenged, but they won. They won pre-selection.
Bev Heath, pretty. She should be in Family First. She's so much of a Christian.
Renee Heath.
Renee Heath, yeah. And Bev McArthur's sort of like. I think she must be 85 now.
She looks about 95 in the shade. Yeah. And but I'm saying that. But one girl did miss out on top selection. There was I think she was from the southeast. I think. She got number 2.
But with so many defections seemingly going on, and there's a lot of rumours that we'll get to about defections, specifically from the Nationals Party.
Yeah.
But Moira Deeming seems determined to stick as a Liberal.
Well,
why?
It's the right strategy because, once she's been elected as the Liberal upper house member again, re-elected, then she can just say, "If you give me any trouble, I'm going. One Nation want me." And she takes, a seat with it.
I don't think it's that.
I don't think she'll do that. If she was going to do it, she would have done it by now.
You would think so, right?
She would have picked up stump.
Re-elected.
She would have packed up stump lunchtime and would have rang Pauline and said, "She said I want to go to the Senate."
How do you know she hasn't?
Well, who knows? Yeah.
I mean, I would be playing a no holds barred game with the Liberal Party if I was her.
My big question, see, the bigger issue is getting rid of the Jacinta Allen socialist Labor government in Victoria. Can the Liberals recover from this?
No, not a chance.
I think they can.
Not to win government, though.
No.
I think the polling's that bad. I think they'll have to go and be in a coalition with One Nation.
They don't have a leader. Jess Wilson isn't a leader.
She might be the default.
Well, that won't win them government.
Did Jess Wilson show leadership in supporting Deeming in this? No.
Well, she can't control the factions. No one can control the factions. Well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
No. There's a whisper saying that Prosciutto's in huge trouble in Hawthorne.
Of course he is.
Well, probably.
And there's probably a lot of people in the Victorian Liberal Party hope he gets beat.
See, the way that I look at this is the decline of the Liberal Party. I mean, it's been happening for a long, long time, but the decline in the polls, I think really, I mean, you could go back to when Moira Deeming first stood on the steps, I think it was of Parliament at the Women's March, and they called her a Nazi and they kicked her out of the party. And that really led to the decline of the Liberal Party. That was one of the first things that really kicked things off. So now this is happening again.
There was plenty before that, I promise you.
Oh, yeah, but I just think it was like it was such a big thing because she went to court and because she was viewed as like a sympathetic figure by particularly Sky News would always give her a lot of coverage and really they were on her side. And against Prosciutto, I mean, he didn't really seem to have a leg to stand on. I mean, now that we've gone down the track, they've already probably lost a lot of Liberals from that first saga. Now it's happened again. I'm always thinking about the people that are still within the Liberal Party, but they're on the fence. Should I go? Should I stay? And things like this come along and they're just like, mate, I've had it. I've just had it with this party. And this is what really pushes them over the edge.
Sure.
So how many more of these events can they have before they're just completely obliterated?
Well, I can't sort of estimate the potential that the Liberal Party has for self-harm.
Sometimes
I really can't give you a prediction because it's like
some days
they keep on surprising me.
Yeah,
you know, it's like
some days
they just can't leave themselves alone.
Yeah,
some days I think they're going to become extinct.
I think that well,
and both the Liberals and the Nationals,
they're pretty much extinct in Western Australia.
They've bounced back a little bit. They're still breathing. They've still got breathing there.
Yeah.
They've gone from two.
But so did the Australian Democrats for a while too. Like
they're stuck in ICU, mate. They'll never get out. I can promise you.
Especially with the new funding laws. I mean, how do they? If they do really badly at the next federal election, how do they recover?
Look in South Australia, the election they only got 20% vote, and they only got 20. They've lost half their vote, so they've lost half their revenue.
Yeah. So how do they now do social media campaigns? How do they really prosecute the case against the Labor Party? I mean, I don't think they realise how to function without a lot of that money coming in.
That's not their problem. Their problem is that One Nation is getting funding. You know, they've got a backer. And they've got momentum and media attention and stuff.
So is this One Nation's gain?
Yep. It's One Nation's game to screw up.
Yeah, that's the biggest question. That's another question.
That's another question. But it's like at the moment, the Liberal Party are losers.
The Liberal Party,
they're not battlers; they're losers.
But remember, Bernie Finn said to you, they're more interested in winning a seat in the state council.
Yeah.
Than being not interested in beating.
He was right.
Dan Andrews or a Greenie in Melbourne.
Well, that was my experience
Brunswick.
within the Liberal Party. They seem obsessed with the internal battles, and they weren't even looking open.
And you're only there for 2 minutes, weren't you? And you knew straight away, did you?
Well, I remember having a conversation with someone that was a friend.
Yeah.
And I said, and he was hanging on, and I said, "Why don't you just leave? Like, just get out of the like." He was.
Has he left now?
Well, yes, he has.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Okay. But this guy could. He could have set up his own party and
Didn't he try?
Yeah. And I was like, mate, you can go out, you can do whatever you want, because he'd run high profile campaigns for the party. Yeah. I mean, he was the brains behind a former premier and a former prime minister. Like, the guy had contacts, he had experience, and he could have easily just stepped out and left the Liberal Party and done something else. And I said, why don't you just get out? And he's like, nah. He's like, it was like he still had internal fights that he wanted to win, and he wanted to, square ups that he needed to finish.
It's like a football game. I'm not finished. I'll keep playing.
And it's like, mate, but you're trying to beat people like these factional warlords that no one has any idea who they are. They're faceless men, and you're trying to get square ups against them that no one is going to give a shit about. No one's even going to care. Like, why are you focused on this? Just leave. Just rip the Band-Aid off, get out, and start fresh somewhere else and really contribute towards the country. No, they still wanted to fight those old turf wars.
Well, I mean, look at Matthew Kamazuli,
Yeah.
It's like, I can't see why he's still interested in the Liberal Party at all.
Well, I reckon it's because now that Lay's gone and and Gus is there,
Mm.
and he's mates with Gus. So there's a his faction's in charge at the moment, and he's backing them to a point. That's on. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like they should make him the leader and retire Gus.
Yeah.
So this, you would think that this further erodes faith in the Liberal Party.
It has to be.
It will probably show up in the polls, and we'll talk about the polls a little bit later. What are you hearing, Sam? I know there's this article about Wes Fang.
Yeah.
Now, Wes Fang, for people that don't know, is a member.
No one knows him except the political insiders.
Okay, well, tell us who Wes Fang is.
He's an upper house MP in the New South Wales Parliament. He's been there for 10 years. He's been endorsed. The Nationals have already put their endorsement out for their upper house candidates, and he's number 3 on their ticket.
Yeah.
Because they combine with the Liberal Party, he'd probably be number 7 on the upper house ticket.
Okay, so this could be another defection from the Nationals to One Nation.
Correct. Well, it's only just come out in the Australian about the last hour or two.
And what's his relationship to Barnaby Joyce?
I was told by another person in Macquarie Street he was a Barilaro man.
Okay.
But because John Barilaro has left politics, he's probably on the limb by himself.
Yeah.
And he's only a young man. He's only in his late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah.
And he's pretty good on the floor in Parliament. And 2 people have told me that. We know the blokes who told me. He said he's very smart on the floor of Parliament, knows his procedures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it comes back to what Pauline's done. He's got Corey Bernardi in South Australia. He had Mark Latham in Sydney. And he's probably trying to find someone in Victoria.
And you think Wes Fang could be that person? I mean, he doesn't have a huge profile.
I don't think he's be a huge profile, but the article did say that Stuart Bonds will still lead the ticket.
Yeah?
That's in the article.
Wow.
Later in the article.
Interesting.
So you think if they're polling 20% at the moment, number 2 is going to get in.
Well, would Wes Fang be happy number 2?
As long as he gets a job for 8 years.
Well, you'd think you'd be happy at number 4 at this point, right?
No, you'd take number 2. You wouldn't take number 4.
But if you were offered number 4, what would you do?
Not for hope. Not a politician like that. He's been there for 10 years.
Yeah. Okay.
No one would take number 4. He'd take number 2.
Yeah.
On the polling.
Yeah. Well, okay. So
if you're number 7 on the coalition ticket, you need 29%, 30%. How they're polling at the moment?
Well, One Nation might get One Nation might get it. Hey, if you can get number 7 on the One Nation ticket, you might sneak in.
You never know these days, but I'm just saying. But if they're only polling 20% in New South Wales.
Yeah.
Well, 20 times 4.55 is only 4 people, 4.5 people.
Yeah.
He's going to be number 7. He's got no chance.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So once,
and if you want to stay in politics and you want to,
see, this is the thing.
It's a numbers game.
This is the thing. This is what we're seeing. People that want to stay in politics, so their personal ambition is overriding any feeling that they have in any other regard. Yeah. So you're seeing people, drift towards One Nation. That would probably never even have considered it in the past and probably look down on the party. I mean, do you have any inklings, Richard, about maybe further defections or?
Oh yeah, they'll come.
Do you have any idea? Like, you want to?
It's all survival and self-preservation and stuff. I think what you'll see is the major parties initially, right? The higher profile people,
yeah,
because they'll be offered, the same thing in a different context.
Yeah.
But then there becomes the draw from, farther afield in the minor parties and so on.
Yeah. Okay.
And and the thing about the minor parties is they are all losing traction because One Nation is sucking their oxygen.
We might as well talk about this now. Then what coming back to because One Nation's polling in their 20s.
Well, soon to be, hitting 30s. They'll hit 30 in Queensland in the next poll.
Well, they did, didn't they?
That's the aggregate poll that came out news poll last night.
Yeah,
that's the aggregate over the last 3 months.
Well, you can see the trend. So it's going to keep on going. There's no sign of it sort of slowing.
The only thing, though, some of the polling the last couple of weeks is sort of a plateau.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's plateau between some of Morgan stuff, and no, it's weekly, but you just see some. It's going between 23 and 25, back to 22.
The government.
You can see that orange line
right,
there.
yeah.
This is poll buzzer.
Yeah, but the last month is just done at plateau
a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But look at the rise before the last couple of months.
Yeah, but how high can it go though? It's not going to get to 50 or anything like that.
No. But
like it's already at 25.
The government
could get to 29, 30.
The government's just spent.
But Rich, from a person, I thought they'd be at 12.
Yeah, well, you got to keep it. Okay, sorry, Richard. Just quickly, Albanese got elected in what some people call a landslide with 32%. You're telling me One Nation could get to 29 and maybe 30. What does that mean?
But the problem is they'll get no preferences.
Okay, all right, Richard.
That's not true. They will get most of the preferences from the Liberals and the Nationals, and quite a lot. Some of
the votes in South Australia didn't flow as much as you thought it was. It's only early yet because
South Australia. That's the state where they're struggling the most. It's got the lowest One Nation vote. It's not. You've got to put it into perspective, right? So, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Talking about the Liberal Party. And the minor parties.
The minor party vote with One Nation polling so high. With what does Libertarians, what do Family First do, and to a point.
Like, what is this? What is so? This surge in support for One Nation is sucking the oxygen even out of the Liberal Party. People have stopped listening to the Liberal Party, but no one's really talking about what is that doing to the other minor parties. I mean, you got Family First, you got Jared Rennick's party, you got that other party that you're part of. What's their name again? Do they exist still?
Yeah. They're still battling away.
Okay, what is this doing to parties like your party?
It's hard. It's taking oxygen away from us. It's taking funding away from us. It's making us hard. It's harder for us to recruit and grow, and it's like it. Even a party like the Animal Justice, which is basically Greens that like animals.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, offshoot of Greens.
Yeah. Other than human animals, but anyway, even Animal Justice is going to struggle to get upper house seats in the state legislature.
Yeah, but they don't get votes. Although they get votes,
they're gonna struggle because it's like everyone's going to concentrate their votes either for One Nation or against. Like the Greens are actually the Greens vote is actually holding up.
It's amazing how it's held up the last couple of months. It's still stuck at 10 to 12%. It hasn't moved.
And it's like it's just going to polarize everything more and more. And the room that the little parties have, like Sustainable Australia and Family First, it's just going to shrink and shrink and shrink.
Even the Sustainable generally run in every election. They didn't run in South Australia this year.
Yeah, well, they don't have the money.
Not just that, they were sort of polling said, we've got no chance here at all.
We're here in New South Wales, and look, the Victorian election's coming up as well, but we know more about New South Wales, and you got some of the prominent minor party figures here in New South Wales, like Lyle Shelton and like John Ruddick. What happens if we go to the New South Wales state election, which is less than a year away now? It's in March,
10 months time,
March 27,
11 months time.
And One Nation, say for example, they pick up. How many do you think they'll pick up in the upper house, Sam? 4, 5?
Well, they're polling 22, 23. 6? Could be minimum 5.
Okay, let's say they get 5, 4 or 5. And the other minor parties, Family First and your party, what's the name again? Didn't they change that? Are they going to change the name again, aren't
they? They should.
They don't get anything. What does it do to them?
Well, I have no idea just how bad it could get, but it could get very, very difficult.
Yeah. I think we talked. We had a personal phone call last week about it, and we both thought about it. What do those minor parties do now? And there's not much really they can do.
I mean,
they don't. You can either. This is like I don't merge, which you shouldn't do. What do you do? Well, I'm just thinking. To this, a week later, Richard, I still can't work out what do you do.
What do seagulls do when they've got to fight over one ship?
I've got a comment here from 84 Punks, and it says, "Are there no conservatives out there?" Now, that leads to my question. Okay, we're talking about the Liberal Party imploding.
Yeah,
or becoming extinct. You can. It's like almost like what I said last week. It's almost like the beginning of the end for the Liberal Party. Like we're seeing, like people looking at it now. It's like, oh, they can't go much lower. Well, yes, they can.
That's right.
Imagine if the LNP in Queensland becomes the Queensland Party.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
What does that leave for the Liberal Party?
Well, that could happen. But here's my question, right? All this oxygen's going towards one nation. All this momentum's going towards one nation. All this success is going towards one nation. But what have we seen in the past? One nation gets success and then they implode very, very quickly. So what happens then? What happens, and more to 84 Punks' comment, where are the Conservatives? The Liberal Party are just, on a path for self-destruction, and then the one nation implodes hypothetically. Then what happens? Where do those votes go then?
Well, you can see why the Labor Party is so arrogant and smug, because they're expecting that to happen.
I think all the political insiders are expecting to happen.
Yeah, but they're wrong.
It's been what, 12 months since the Western Australian election?
Yeah, but they're wrong, Sam. They're wrong because when things are going okay and you're making ground, okay, there's no problem.
Yeah.
It's only when you start going backwards and getting beaten that you'll get a mutiny.
We're talking about the Animal Justice Party. They had a civil war 3 years ago when they didn't win a seat in the state parliament.
So,
I'm just saying little things like that. Wasn't commentated, but they did have a civil war.
It's a good point.
And the same thing with One Nation. What happened? They're waiting for someone to jump ship or go to the crossbench.
Yeah,
It's going to be open warfare. That means when the big parties can go in, and everyone can go in. The Libertarians, the Family First, saying, "So I told you." They haven't changed, and justifiably, that was right. That you can't trust them.
How dangerous is this period for the country? Because while the Liberal Party are imploding, and supposedly there's no Conservatives around, a lot of people have that view. It seems like Albanese is getting a free ride, and the Labor Party are getting a free ride, and you're seeing it in state parliaments around the country. You're seeing it federally.
Yeah.
What does that mean for Australia, where the Labor Party have this grip on power, where they're really struggling as well? Historically, their vote is down. I mean, they're in the low 30s.
They know how to win elections,
but they're still winning. They're still winning elections.
That's
but
right.
That's their narrative.
They're only one election defeat away from the same situation that the Liberal Party are in as well.
Because Samara said the other day, there's a lot of dissatisfaction with the Labor voters in working class areas.
And you got to remember, there's just as many factions within the Labor Party. And yes, they've behaved themselves,
Because
they've
they're
been
in
disciplined. But once they get back into opposition, all those scores they've got to settle.
That's right.
It happens on the Labor side too, and we've seen it in the past. What happens then? I mean, it's going to be potentially a huge void and a huge vacuum of votes. I mean, I feel like I've got no one to vote for. There's a lot of people out there that feel like they've got no one to vote for. When what happens?
Well, you're making a fundamental mistake. You don't vote for politicians, you vote against them.
Well, if you're voting against all of them, then you're not voting for anyone.
Well,
you might as well vote informal then.
You go by how much you loathe and hate someone. That's all. I mean, that's why I put the Greens at the bottom, the Teals after them, and Labor after them.
An insight to Richard's mind.
I worked my way up from the bottom.
How would the Greens be feeling that they've busted their backsides off for the last 30 years and they're stuck at 10 or 12, and Pauline's on 25?
I think they're probably looking at this situation that I just explained then with a lot of opportunity. They probably think, okay, well, let's just keep chipping away, because once that Labor Party vote, I mean, it might get to a situation. I mean, if One Nation can hold it together, where there is no more Labor Party, there is no more Liberal Party, and it's just a battle between One Nation and the Greens.
Yeah.
That's a hypothetical situation.
That'll never happen. The Greens are politicians second and religious fanatics first.
Yeah.
So,
I just wonder how that you busted your backside.
Let me tell you two interesting conversations I had just this week, right? Almost exactly the same conversation with two different people. One was an older, maybe in his 60s, an older guy, Croatian background.
Okay.
Works for the New South Wales government.
Oh, okay.
The other one was a female accountant, probably about my age, say 40s, right? Exactly the same conversation. We're taxed too high. You don't get a leg up. Complaining about superannuation and how the government's going to get their greedy hands on that. complaining about capital gains tax, complaining about taxation in general and how, you know, everything's taken off you. It's the cost of living pressures, interest rates, all that sort of thing. Saying exactly the same thing. I'm having exactly, and I always play dumb. I don't tell them I'm involved in politics or I have a podcast because I want to hear their raw reactions. If I tell them who I'm part of or what, you know, you get some.
They back off a bit,
or they sway to. They tell you what you want to hear, whereas I want to really hear what they. So the interesting part of it was they wanted the same thing, they supported the same policies, and the gas thing was interesting. They both brought that up about, you know, getting more royalties from the gas. The guy in his 60s openly said he was going to support Pauline and One Nation, which I've never. I mean, no one would ever be game to do that in the past.
I can tell you a story about them.
Yeah, the female said she was going to vote for Greens.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're sitting there like two polar opposites parties, and it's interesting. I mean, we did a podcast with Victor DL a long time ago, probably over a year ago now, where we went through the different policies of the parties. The Green, if you compare One Nation policies and Greens policies, they're very similar.
Are they? Yeah.
Very similar.
Okay.
But it's almost like the way to get there is different. So, for example, both parties want to bring back manufacturing. One Nation want to do it with coal. The Greens want to do it with renewables. Yeah. So, I mean, I found that very, very interesting. You're talking to two people that are, you know, switched on enough to keep up to date with the policies and everything and the pressures that are going on, but maybe not switched on enough politically where they understand the differences between the parties.
They're both ignorant trout that have gone for the bait of trying to gas.
Well, that's a bit harsh.
No, I don't think so. I think they're both morons. Because if you actually start,
who should they be voting for?
Well, it shouldn't even be an issue that should drive your vote. The gas stuff. That's just ignorant.
I can tell you a story. My dentist is at Bondi Junction. There's plenty of dentists in Bondi Junction.
Richard, you might have to help me with this one. 84 Punk says, Greens are Malthusian? What's that word?
Yeah, they believe in poverty and limited everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
A communist.
John Malthus, who wrote the theory of finite resources and how the world was going to run.
He also says that Rennick is the first politician I've ever liked and respected. So that, I mean, there's a lot of people that comment.
I'll tell you what,
I
I saw that podcast with him and
Carl Stefanovic
and with Lyle Shelton the other day. He had a podcast. Jared is a smart man.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I mean,
you know what his problem is?
He can't talk.
Party.
He's hopeless at politics.
Yeah, but he's got a brain.
He's got a brain.
They hung on to James McGrath and let him go.
But
I mean, they must be out of their minds.
But he's not a figurehead. He's almost like a guy that you want in the background writing policy. You know,
you don't think he'd be a good treasurer?
Yeah, he'd be an excellent treasurer. I mean, yes, he would be an excellent
finance minister.
Would be an excellent finance minister, but you got to get him elected first.
Be a fantastic.
If he's a senator, he gets elected because the party's got representation.
Well, supposedly you can't be treasurer if you're in the upper house by convention. It doesn't say that in the Constitution.
Yeah,
I mean, I
finance ministers that have been.
I said treasurer.
Yeah,
the treasurer of New South Wales.
You find him a seat if you want him to be treasurer.
Is he really?
Daniel Mookie's he's the treasurer. He's in the upper house.
Okay.
Yeah.
He goes downstairs on budget day.
Yeah, okay.
Goes and addresses in the lower house, but he's from the upper house.
Well, yeah, you can understand why. He's a bit of a strange cat.
I'm just saying he's treasurer from upstairs.
He's one of the weirdest politicians I've ever seen in my life.
I don't know much. No one's told me much about him. No one says much about him.
Talking about
They're probably embarrassed or trying to hide something.
Talking about one of the weirdest people that you've ever seen in your life. Yeah. How about this bloke? Let's have a go at this.
Monday, National Cabinet adopted the National Fuel Security Plan. Leaders from both sides of politics, from right around the country, working together to keep Australia moving, making sure that we are prepared so that if the global situation gets worse and our fuel supplies are seriously disrupted over the long term, we can coordinate the next steps together. Today, we cut the fuel excise in half, cutting the tax on every litre of petrol by 26 cents. Those savings have started showing up at your petrol station. For our truckies, we have cut the heavy vehicle road user charge to zero. Both these measures will be in place for the next 3 months. We are working to bring the price of fuel down, to make more fuel here and to keep it on shore and get more fuel here, using our strong trading relationships with our region to bring more petrol, diesel and fertiliser to Australia.
You know, it reminds me of a Rodney Rood joke. He was talking about John Howard because it was back in the day, but it's the same sort of thing. You know, it doesn't matter if he's saying something good or it doesn't matter what he's saying. He always sounds like he's I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that.
You know,
it sounds like he's whinging and whining.
You know, it's 3 minutes I'll never get back.
He didn't say anything.
I'm just saying it was just a gobbledygook of nothing.
Freaked everyone out, specifically those people that were freaked out during COVID with these, you know, press conferences by the premiers every day. Everyone thought they were going to go into lockdown. He's done this national address, and everyone's expecting, they're going to, you know,
make some announcement.
There were rumors about how they were going to put, you know, every, you know, if you had a number plate that was an odd number, you wouldn't be able to drive on a certain day.
But me and Richard, we lived in the 70s when we had petrol strikes, and your number plates was you could take petrol if you're an even number or an odd number.
Yeah.
You just accepted in those. That's how it was.
This is what people were expecting. So
I was only a kid.
He's freaked people out to do this national address. Now, this is the 6th national address in Australian history. So this is a pretty rare thing to happen.
Yeah.
It was pre-recorded. Most of these things are done live. Can you imagine like Robert Menzies doing a national address where he's saying, "Okay, we're now at war," and he pre-records it? Like, I mean, Albert, he's so incompetent that he has to pre-record these things. Like, just if you're going to do a national address, you'd think you would do it live. But anyway, I mean, I feel like the reason why he's jumped at this and he's done this is because he wants the attention. He wants to feel important. He wants to feel like, I'm the Prime Minister, like we saw at the steps of Parliament today. I'm the Prime Minister. He's so self-absorbed that's the reason why he's done this. But the reaction from people is like they're freaked out. Now I'm having conversations with people that are saying, I don't want to drive because, you know, I don't want to run out of petrol and I'm filling up every few days. So I don't want to go below, you know, half. People are freaked out because 15% of the world's oil supply is in jeopardy from the Strait of Hormuz. Like, there's still plenty of oil floating around in the world. Like,
it's just got to get it here.
But, you know, you're meant to be calming people down. And this is what Albanese claims he has done. But, I mean, some of the criticism has been, no, it was the opposite. He's just freaked people out even more by doing something as notable as a national address about an issue that...
He's still trying to distract people away from the main issue. The main issue
that
is diesel,
okay,
right? And the fact that they haven't actually had a reserve, you know, deployed. They should have 90 days for, you know.
Yeah.
And they've signed it. Australia's actually signed a contract and signed it about 15 years ago that we're meant to have 90 days of reserve.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of it. That's
and look,
part of the
people on this
mandate.
Podcast have been talking. I remember Kevin Lockray used to come on here and go on about it over and over again.
Jim
rightly so. Jim Molan. We played a clip last week where Pauline Hanson in 2001.
Oh, really?
2021 went into the Parliament and was talking about it. Like, how hard is it to have 90 days worth of fuel in the country? Like, apparently Japan's got 200 days. Like, how hard is it?
China's got more than that.
Yeah.
And they actually make their own fuel. You know, South Africa and China actually refine, you know, get synthetic oil from coal.
Well, so did the Germans during World War II, right?
Matt Canavan brought that up the other day.
So why are we freaking people out saying we're going to run out of fuel? I mean, you can turn coal into fuel. I mean, it's not the ideal, but you can do it. I mean, if we were destitute, that you could go down that path. We've got plenty of coal.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing is that Albanese was trying to be important, and he's not. He's trying to, you know, present this image of a leader of substance, and he's not. And Paul Erickson was probably, shoving him forward and saying, "You've got to do this, mate."
Yeah.
And by the way, we'll get enormous traction out of reducing the fuel excise for 3 months. It'll only cost about $8 billion. Don't worry about it. You know, no problem. It's their money. It's not ours. You know, don't worry about it. And you'll look good. You'll look like you're doing something.
Yeah.
So that's the whole spiel. Anyone that sees it any differently than that is just completely moronic.
The thing is,
because it's so shallow, it's so easy to see, it's so obvious.
At lunchtime, when I heard at lunchtime he was going to address the nation, I was, oh, gee, he's going to say something major here.
Yeah.
I just thought, no, just mean being done. I thought, I thought, well, what's he going to say? And nothing was.
I was freaked out all day. It brought back trauma from COVID. Where I was like, oh, they're going to bring back lockdowns again. I mean,
the only thing I didn't know was nothing was leaked out. Like you really got something.
There's nothing worth leaking out.
But I'm just saying, I thought maybe someone might have leaked something out 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, saying he's going to say this.
Yeah,
no one leaked anything out. There's nothing to leak.
Sam, you are not dumb. You just have a lingering residual respect for the office of Prime Minister, like I do.
Yeah.
And this guy has managed to completely trash it and flush it down the toilet.
Yeah.
There's my clip for the week, Richard. All right,
a bit of Dan Andrews in his stuff, isn't there?
Because he's taking advice. He's got Andrews on speed dial.
That's right.
Right. So here is. That's just brought back bad memories as well. I think we're still I'm definitely still traumatized from COVID. Here's a reaction from Michael Arban, who we had on the show a few weeks back, and always very insightful with his comments. He said the Prime Minister's address felt like a softening up exercise.
Yeah.
Serious in tone, but light on detail. Go about your life as usual. Just don't take more fuel than you need. Use public transport if you can. Think of our essential workers. A gentle warning that the months ahead may not be easy. He couldn't promise to shield Australians from the pressures of this war. It sounded like preparation for a much bigger hit still yet to come. That's the concern.
Yeah,
that's really the concern, and it's a very insightful comments there from Michael Arban. I think.
Well, that depends on what happens in Iran.
I still, and what's the get out? We're going? What's Trump? Where's Trump's exit strategy? That's on. Yeah.
Well, he didn't want to go in the first place, so it's not like he had a choice.
Yeah, that's another.
I mean, he's not a warrior. He's a negotiator. He only fights if he has to, and the whole situation has
he has to get sorted out quickly because he's got midterms in November and it looks like he's going to get smashed.
Well, he gets smashed then because it may not be sorted out. It all depends on these idiots in Iran.
I think Trump has really tarnished his legacy, and he's losing a hell of a lot of support by people that backed him to the hilt.
It's too early to say.
I don't think so. I think this is a fundamental thing. People voted for him and people supported him because they didn't want any more wars, because they saw that as a mechanism of the elites, a mechanism of the deep state.
He didn't start this war.
Yeah, well, Israel did.
No, they didn't.
Well, they said
Iran started at 47 years ago.
It's quite clear that Israel went to them and they said, "We're going in," and that's what promoted Trump to go in first, because they wanted to get ahead. They knew that Iran's response was to attack some U.S. assets.
That just meant he had no choice. But this war was started by Iran.
Oh, please come off it.
They've put their money and their weaponry and their whole national energy into starting wars and supporting terrorists.
But this argument by Israeli sympathizers is always Israel is just living there peacefully. We're not doing anything. We're not attacking anyone. And all these other countries around us, well, they should live peacefully with us as well under our thumb.
And Stephen, do you know,
like the people in Gaza, they should live peacefully under our thumb as well, and they should never retaliate. They should never fight back. They should never do anything against us, because we're justified in everything that we do. And if anything does ever happen, if they do retaliate, well, that's them starting the conflict. It's like, hang on a second.
So some guy comes up to you and knees you in the balls. You say, "Look, I understand your pain, but it's all right."
But you're making my argument in reverse.
Exactly.
So you're saying that Israel is kneeing Iran in the balls.
No.
I mean, Iran's got sanctions against them. I mean, there's 90 million people living in their country that they need to support. And I'm not supporting the Iranian regime. I'm not saying there's good guys or bad guys. I've made this point on the podcast before. It's always elite versus the everyday.
I know you're not insane. That's okay.
Okay, good.
But so do you know Golda Meir's famous saying about this whole situation in the Middle East?
I will after you tell me.
Yeah, well, in 1972, I think, when she was Prime Minister, she said, if the Arabs laid down their weapons, there'd be peace. If the Israelis laid down their weapons, there'd be no Israel. That's it. That's the situation. If you're fighting for survival, you do it.
But what would happen when the Arabs laid down their weapons?
Nothing. The Israelis aren't interested in conquering Arabs.
What's the deal with Greater Israel then?
That's a propaganda exercise.
Why have we got images of those?
We've already covered this. You asked me about this when you were interviewing Victor. And it's like I said, 9 million Israeli citizens, only 6 million of which are Jews, are going to conquer, the whole Middle East.
They will with America's behind them.
Oh, really? I don't think so. They don't have any ambition to do it.
Why are they in south of Lebanon at the moment?
Because Hezbollah's there and firing missiles at them. That's why.
Why did they create Hamas? Why did Netanyahu fund Hamas?
Another conspiracy.
Oh, I think it's proven from what I've seen.
It's proven. So what? It doesn't change anything.
It's another podcast in itself.
Well, I mean, show me what you're talking about.
Tell me this. Should America be in Iran right now? Should they have gone in?
Yes.
Just come a bit closer to that.
Yes, because of the Samson Protocol.
Oh, here we go again.
So there you go.
Protocol. So because Israel says they're going to wipe everyone off the face of the earth, then everyone needs to bow down and do the will of Israel.
No, I think they'll concentrate on Iran and anyone else that they think's in.
How does America? So if it was justified for America to go into Iran, how does America get out of Iran? Which is now the big question. How does it get out?
The easiest and most obvious way is if there's a regime change, but that's a lot to hope for.
You're dealing with.
I would say there's going to be a negotiated transition.
But you're dealing with supposedly, and this is probably true, extremists.
Yes.
Who not afraid of death. In fact, they probably welcome it. They probably feel like they're dying as martyrs.
Yeah, well,
they're not going to negotiate.
That's why we should bury them in pigskin so they don't go to paradise.
What?
That's what the British did in northern India.
Oh, God.
Well, if you're going to have a war, you fight it to win. You don't do what the Americans did in Vietnam and have all this.
But they've done that. America has done that in every single war since Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq. They never finished the job, and that's what people saw in Trump. They saw someone that was not going to go into these wars because they don't gain anything at the end of it. All they lose is their treasure, their economy, and their soldiers by going into these things, and they kill a lot of people in the process. Like it was like 1 million people dead in Iraq from that Iraq war. Some numbers indicate that. Some say 500,000. Whatever the number is, it's still a hell of a lot of people.
Well, Saddam was killing all those people anyway.
Was he?
Yeah. He was killing about 60, 70,000 people a year.
60 to 70,000 compared to 1 million.
Yeah, but they were good people. They weren't ratbags.
Oh. Let's as I said, that's another podcast in itself. And when we do that podcast, I'm going to get people on.
Yeah, get people calling in and say we got to get Richard.
Yeah. Let's bomb Richard. Don't bomb Richard right now, but eventually. Okay. All right. Let's get back to
let's make one final point, and that is, it is unacceptable for a group of religious fanatics like the Iranians to have access to a weapon of mass destruction, be it a dirty bomb, a biological weapon, a nuclear weapon, whatever. Okay, it's just unacceptable.
I feel like that article is just people believing what they want to believe.
What article?
Argument.
No, that's a reality. All they need, they've already got enough material, enough enriched uranium to make about a dozen dirty bombs, and they've got the missiles to fire them at Israel, and then you'll get a reaction.
And Israel have got nuclear weapons, and they bring out this Samson protocol. So who's the more dangerous?
Well, Israel is not someone you want to pick. It's like picking, a heavyweight fighter. Like you don't go up to Mike Tyson and knee him in the nuts and say, what are you going to do about it?
So what did Iran do to knee Israel in the nuts?
They haven't yet.
Oh, okay. All right. But that's your whole argument. Your whole argument is let's go to war because they've kneed us in the nuts. But then you just said they haven't. So why are they going to war?
They've got the capability of doing it. That's bad enough.
Okay, but so did Russia, so did China. Why didn't they go to war with them?
Yeah, but they're not insane. They actually know that you can't win a nuclear war. This is a mad theory. It doesn't work if you're dealing with someone that's insane.
Persians are some of the most intelligent people.
Yeah, they're not running the country.
Okay. All right, fair point. All right, well, let's talk about the insane person that's running this country. Talk about something that we can agree on, because I want to bring this up. I mean, I brought up this point before about how, you know, the turmoil that we're seeing within the Liberal Party and you know the oxygen that One Nation is taking away from all the other parties, and they could potentially implode as well.
We haven't really finished our discussion. What do the Libertarians and the Family First?
Who?
Libertarians.
Who?
No, we just come.
Who are they? Who's going to run at the next election?
I don't know.
Yeah, who? Have they got anyone?
This is the flea debate, the flea parties.
The flea party.
Yeah.
But it comes back. Let's finish this discussion off. Is what do the minor right parties or minor parties do if, because all the oxygen has been sucked out of them? What do they do at this moment?
They just keep chugging along. What can they do?
Yeah.
What can they do?
All can do.
Yeah. What can they do?
Um,
And I think a lot of them are falling into the trap. We've seen this with Jared Rennick, and we've also seen it with Lyle Shelton recently as well. They're going after One Nation.
All right.
And I think this leads into what I'm going to talk about now. The right is attacking each other too much because they're seeing opportunity, and they're seeing One Nation take the opportunity away from them. And they're going, oh, we can't let that happen. We have to stop them. And you're seeing posts from the Liberal Party attacking One Nation. There was one about, you know, people that they had employed recently about, you know,
ex-rapist.
Yeah. And you've seen this post by Lyle Shelton where he's attacking one of the people that was elected in the South Australian election, saying that he supported LGBTQ issues in the past. You know, so these right-wing minor parties are leveling
the
their
Libertarians haven't done that. They want to be buddies with someone.
Well, I was at a candidate forum when Warwick Stacey was elected. I was hosting it, and you had 3 Libertarians ganging up on him. So don't tell me that the Libertarians don't do it. They certainly do it. And supposedly one of them has already jumped ship.
He still beat them.
Yeah, damn straight he beat them because he stood up and just walloped them.
Yeah. That's okay. That was a fair fight. It was out in the open. Wasn't subterfuge. It wasn't done through the press.
But my point is they should be attacking Labor, not attacking each other.
That was a one-off.
Well, when did the Libertarians ever attack Labor?
And I would remind you that Warren got elected with Libertarian preferences.
Warwick.
Yeah, Warwick. So I would remind you of that.
What, like 3 votes?
No. It was about 170,000.
Okay, well, now, because all this stuff is happening on the right, you've got the Labor government where things like this is happening. Australia takes in a record number of migrants in 12 months. Albanese plan in tatters. So this is an article in news.com.au.
It's a contradiction in terms. Albanese doesn't have a plan. Therefore, it's a complete contradiction. It's an oxymoron. He doesn't have the intelligence to make plans.
Okay, so the Albanese government has taken in a record number of migrants despite promising to cut the figure amid political and public pressure. A conservative think tank, which is the Institute of Public Affairs, the IPA, has shown. So what it says is that net permanent and long-term arrivals hit 57,270 in January this year alone, the highest number on record. So this is despite the Labor Party and the Albanese government saying they were going to start to curtail this. In the 12 months to January, just shy of 500,000 people entered the country. Net permanent and long-term arrivals are migrants who have declared they are intending to stay in Australia for 12 months or longer. Migration, primarily driven by temporary migration and international students, has dramatically risen post the COVID pandemic as borders reopened. And you can see in this graph here, for people that are watching, you can see that since COVID and since the Albanese government, that the immigration levels have completely skyrocketed. Where we're seeing pretty much 500,000 people come into this country every single year. So look, this is a big failure, and this is driving, I guess, people towards parties like One Nation and Pauline Hanson, who was warning against this for so long. This is the sort of thing. This is the country this is the country under Labor government. I think we need to be leveling our horns at the Albanese government and Albanese and the state Labor governments as well, instead of attacking the Liberal Party or attacking One Nation or attacking even some of the minor parties.
We do both.
We could do both, but I think most of the oxygen needs to go to this incompetent prime minister that we've got.
Certainly. No argument. But I mean, we shouldn't let the Liberals off the hook.
At the same time,
because they are enabling this all to happen. They are so weak, so divided, and so stupid.
But it comes back to what Albo really believes. He does believe in big. They believe in big Australia.
Of course.
They believe in big government. They believe in big immigration. They believe in big spending.
They believe in easy votes.
You know, because that's what works for them. It makes their life easy.
Yeah. 84 Punks said, One Nation is the left. Rennick is conservative and therefore attacking the right, but the left. I don't understand how One Nation is left.
I don't think anyone on the left would acknowledge that One Nation is off the left. I think, mate, we really have to defer to their greater expertise on what's left and what's right.
Maybe check out the One Nation website, look at their policies, and
not just start listening to what the people in Labor and the Greens say about One Nation.
Yeah.
I mean that'll tell you all you need to know.
How do you feel let's bring this graph back up, because I mean this is really telling. I mean, look, immigration's been rising, as you can see from this graph. But it's definitely out of control now. I mean, how do you feel, Sam? How do you feel, Richard, growing up in this country, seeing the progression of this country? I mean, are you comfortable with this level of immigration? I mean, your background, Sam, is family of immigrants. Yeah. Richard, you have
one immigrant father.
Yep, exactly.
Well, my parents came out in the 50s.
Yeah, like my wife is an immigrant. Some of my best friends are immigrants. Like, I've never been anti-immigration. I have always thought that it needs to be controlled. This is out of control.
Correct. Yeah, that's right.
This is completely out of hand. And it's impoverishing our country, because we can't keep up with the infrastructure build to contain this, and we can't build enough houses.
People traveling 2 hours to get to work every day.
It's just not on. And it's like what we've always been proud of in Australia is that we rejected the white Australia policy when I was about 7 years old. And it's like, we're not a racist country. We've got a non-selective immigration policy. Well, that's just entirely the wrong way to look at it. That's all about ideology and belief. What we actually have to acknowledge is that when we invite someone into the country, we are actually giving them a shareholding in all the wealth of this country. And unless they're bringing skills or capital that's more than that, we're actually debasing the value of everybody's share of national wealth. And that's the way it needs to be looked at. Like, if you're inviting in shareholders into a company and you're giving them a free shareholding, because that's what we're doing.
Well, that is not so bad when the country's doing well, but I have been having this conversation with people this week. It feels like we're heading towards a brick wall.
Oh, we are. It's called a recession.
Yeah. Well, I think it could be even deeper than that, because there's nothing in the coffers now. I mean,
$1 trillion in debt.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, they're going to go after the superannuation. I have no doubt about that. They're going to get their grubby hands on that. But they're also targeting, taxing us even more, and doing, I guess, what they would call a tax reform. So this is in Sky News. Key carve-out emerges as Prime Minister mulls major property tax reform. So this is all about Chalmers and Albanese talking about going after the capital gains tax discount and negative gearing and abolishing that. Now, they're saying that whatever proposals or policies that they bring in are going to be grandfathered, and it's about addressing intergenerational theft. Yeah. But if you're going to grandfather it, how are you going against intergenerational theft? You're hurting future investors, future property owners, who hopefully will be that younger generation. I mean, if you're a person that is looking to get into the property market, this is only going to hurt them even more.
I don't want to sound dismissive, but none of this has very much relevance. The main issue is that the government keeps on getting more money through bracket creep.
Yeah.
And that's their big winner. That's why they keep getting more money.
Yeah.
And they keep spending more money than they're getting.
Yeah.
So they can have all these ideas that Treasury gives them, and lefty economists and think tanks tell them about how they could get more money out of property and stuff like that. I can promise you they won't collect very much at all. There's nothing left.
Yeah.
Unless they bring in a wealth tax or an inheritance tax or something like that.
We'll go after super. There's a
They're
trillion dollars there.
They're already getting a lot of
4.5 trillion.
If they
There's
go,
a 4.5 in super.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, people tell me that when I retire, I'm going to have $2 million in super. Now, there's two issues of that. First, I don't believe that because I think the government's going to
you'll
take
have
that.
more than that.
Okay, well, let's say at the very, very bare minimum, when I retire at 70, which would probably be the age by then, I'll have $2 million, right? Okay, before we get there, I believe that the government's probably going to hack into that because they're going to want to say, oh, we need to pay off the debt, or blah blah. It's blah blah blah. I'll take that money out. But say I do get that money, and everyone else my age gets that $2 million. It's going to be worthless because you're going to have all these people running around with $2 million to invest in property or whatever. How's that going to help anything? It's only going to drive up inflation even more, and your $2 million is going to be worthless. It's like you hear people that say, oh, there's this secret bank account and everyone's got $1 million in it. And that's great, but if everyone gets $1 million at the same time, it's worthless because inflation will just skyrocket. So, I mean, I think this is a big problem. Everyone touts superannuation as a great thing, but if everyone's getting $2 million when they retire at a similar time.
I think what Keating tried to do is, if you had $2 million, he wanted you to become, therefore you become a
self-funded retiree.
Self-funded retiree and draw a weekly income out.
Yeah, well, I think that's smart.
That's smart. The theory of it.
But if people suddenly have $2 million in their account and they say, okay, well, I'm 70.
Yeah, I can.
All right. I mean, I'm probably only going to live to 85 or
well, that's the average age.
Yeah, exactly. So that's 15 years. I'm probably only going to spend, say, maybe 50 grand every year. Yeah. They're not going to just sit there and take a wage from $2 million. They're going to go out and buy property. They're going to buy, maybe a boat, or they're going to spend even half of that money. They say, I'll spend $1 million and keep the other in reserve.
You're presuming they're debt free.
That's
that's a big percentage.
By 70, they
my brother.
A lot of big mortgages now.
Yeah, but you would think that majority of that mortgage would have been
my brother.
The big issue here is, look, the superannuation policy was made compulsory by Keating because he didn't want to have to give the LAW tax cuts that he promised, right?
True. Yeah.
So this was just a flim-flam man sort of double card trick that he pulled, because he'd been promising his LAW tax cuts for 3 years, and he said they're in law, and then he reneged on it and said, oh, but we're going to make compulsory superannuation for all wage earners. So employers like me had to start paying all our employees superannuation, and that came out of our money. Didn't come out of the government's. So that was the start of it. And the whole purpose of it was to take people off the aged pension. And you'll find that there are almost as many people now on the age pension as there were then.
So
it's been a dramatic policy failure. If you look at its original purpose.
Though I read something 12 months ago saying that the pension bill is about $20 billion a year.
Yep.
It was $20 billion 20 years ago. So they've saved money that way.
I'm sure it's more than that.
I read something was about $20 billion in part pensions and things.
I think you'll find it's the biggest part of Social Security.
Well, NDIS has taken that over now.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, here's another failure of the Albanese government. We should keep drumming it in because it relates to the economy again. Now, this was put out by the Liberal Party, and this was before the war in Iran began. Australia's inflation was higher than any other major advanced economy. So this was before all the fuel increases that we saw. And so we're already on a bad trajectory. Labor has been getting this free ride. I mean, they should have been voted out the last election, in my opinion, the way that they were handling the economy. And I grew up in an area where it was all about the economy. I mean, Howard and Costello focused on the economy, and I wish the Liberals would go back to that. But we are really driving towards a cliff. I think we've been in a per capita recession for 4 years, but times are going to get even tougher, and we're getting into a situation where
at least 3 years.
And we're getting into a situation where suddenly people might not be employed as easily as they were in the past. I know my industry is heading towards that. I mean, under the New South Wales state government, they had plenty of money to build projects. That's why we saw the WestConnex project, the Sydney Metro project, the Parramatta Light Rail, big infrastructure projects in New South Wales. There's no money left.
There's
no money left. So if you think
the federal government isn't financing the recycling of capital assets,
well, if you think
like it did during the Liberal government,
and
New South Wales took beautiful advantage of that and built everything that they possibly could.
Yeah.
And Victoria didn't, which is why Victoria's gone down and New South Wales has come up.
Well, if you think that you're going to see more,
not saying it's perfect.
If you think you're going to see big infrastructure projects in New South Wales anytime soon, there's nothing coming. And what happens to all those workers now? And there's a lot of younger guys who have been in the construction industry for 10 years. They've only ever seen project after project after project. They've been able to roll on, they've been able to get jobs easily. There's not going to be any work, and a lot of those blokes are going to have to go to other states to find work, or
go to Pilbara,
or leave the industry, or maybe go into mines. I mean, that's not easy. They've got families. They're entrenched in New South Wales. I mean, what does that do? I mean, because there's a lot, people don't realize infrastructure projects. I think it's just a big money pit. No, it employs a lot of people that are within those projects, but it also employs external aspects. So,
but it builds productivity. It builds,
that's right.
It builds wealth.
That's right.
It's like if you look at something like WestConnex, that has taken out so much.
All
time.
The concrete suppliers, all the asphalt suppliers, all the
time
the electricians, the plumbers. I mean, the drainage layers. I mean, a lot of the chippies that work. I mean, all these industries that feed into the construction machine and the infrastructure machine are suddenly going to go, okay, we've got no work. What does that do? And suddenly you've got all these people that are unemployed.
Well, there's one in South Australia, the north-south.
I know what the answer to that question is. What the lefties will say. Oh, they can build houses now.
Yeah. Well, that's what a state politician told me 3 years ago. Said that men's once become known as the house.
But they're not building houses.
I'm just saying that. Yeah. Where Gladys and the Liberal Party were known as the infrastructure premiers of building infrastructure projects.
Yeah, but they actually built them.
Yeah.
What new houses has Minns built?
Nothing of it.
You notice he got a haircut? What an idiot.
Did he?
Yeah. I mean, after the amount of times I've paid him out about his stupid hair, he went out and got a haircut. He's still probably the worst leader this country has ever seen.
I don't
Complete authoritarian scumbag. And he's done nothing. What has he done? You always say he's such a great leader. What has he contributed to New South Wales in more than one term now?
He's kept all those mongrel dogs under control.
So what does that contribute to the everyday lives of, I mean, I just talked about there's going to be no infrastructure projects. There's no new housing. Where's the new housing? What is he doing? Is he bringing down cost of living? No. Is he?
Is he adding to the state debt? Not
yes.
Very much. Not very much.
It's still there. I mean, it's still out of control.
Government spending's probably a bit further down than you want to admit.
Okay, well,
I don't think he's that bad.
He's terrible, I think. But what do you think is the biggest failure of the Albanese government and Labor at the moment? I mean,
it's all the economic stuff.
I think this fuel stuff is pretty bad because, I mean, if you look at the podcast that we did with Emma Bowman and Katie and Sal the other week, this fuel thing that's going on in rural communities where they can't get fuel to sow fields, that's got a flow-on effect that we might not see for another year or two.
No, we'll know by Christmas.
There might not be food on the shelf.
That's a diesel problem, and it's a storage problem, and it's a problem that's existed for 20 years. You can say that every government's been guilty of it, but this one is the one that's actually drawn the.
Well, the problem is this has been a problem for both governments for the last 20 years when they've closed all these oil refineries. There used to be an oil refinery on Sydney Harbour.
Yeah.
Used to be an oil refinery in Clyde next to Roseville Racetrack.
Yeah.
We used to have eight refineries. We used to have 8 refineries.
Yeah.
8.
Well, there's 2. Yeah. One in Brisbane, one in Perth, isn't it?
They reckon that
they're clapped out.
They reckon we're floating on oil as well in South Australia, Northern Territory. I even heard Queensland's got it.
Yeah.
We're floating on the
stuff. They say there's a billion tons of oil.
We've also got shale. We've also got shale oil, which the Canadians have been developing.
Yeah,
we got stacks of shale oil. And there's shale oil everywhere.
There's shale oil. Is that a heap in South Australia in the outback?
There's heaps in Queensland.
Queensland is there.
And there's even some around Midigal.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Didn't know that.
Now, Sam, you're a sports fan. Have you heard the name Gary Ablett, Senior?
Yes.
Okay, so
he was in the public. Yeah,
when I was growing up, Gary, it was Gary Ablett and Tony Lockett. They were the big players in the AFL. So he's come out against the Albanese government and a few other things as well. This is a very interesting interview by Gary Ablett. But this is
as
what
the media is saying at the moment. Mr. Albanese comes across as a pathological liar. He does not have a problem compromising with the truth whenever it suits him. And if he continues to be leading this country, if he continues in power, our country is not only going to self-destruct, but we'll soon be communist because we have Mr. Albanese and his government are a social communist government. We all know that.
So this is a former major AFL star. I mean, his son was a major star as well. He's coming out and basically laying it all on the line and saying exactly the same things that you're saying, Richard. I mean, are you surprised that someone of this stature is?
No, he's not. He's got his own point of view. Well, I don't agree with his psychological assessment. I don't think Albanese has enough substance or intelligence to be a pathological anything. I think he's so vacuous and insubstantial that he's incapable of being a good liar.
Oh, yeah, but what about the people behind him? A lot of people say that he's not
Paul Erickson,
he's not running the show. Paul Erickson, but also Penny Wong and Tony Burke.
Well, they've got their own problems.
Bowen and
let's just put this down.
They've got their own problems. Those two. Yeah.
But it's a lot of those. They're all hard-nosed politicians. They know that. They would learn a lot. They learn a lot from what happened with Gillard Rudd.
Are you surprised that people are starting to speak openly about how much they despise Albanese?
They're not.
They're not.
Well, Gary Ablett just did.
Most people think he's doing an okay job. Now they think he's
okay
an
Albo.
bloke.
Maybe we can call him okay Albo.
Because the Liberals are that bad.
Yeah,
no, that's the problem. That's the problem.
And also,
there's no effective opposition.
They've got Trump to blame. Like, I think I read somewhere that 65% of people blame Trump for starting the war.
He did.
So no, he didn't. He certainly hasn't caused. He certainly hasn't caused the fuel crisis in this country. That's what they blame him for. 65% of people think that he's responsible for the fuel crisis in this country. He's not. 20 years of negligent governments are responsible.
Yeah.
Particularly the one in the last 5 years.
Well, look, it didn't help that Trump went into Iran. It certainly didn't help, but it's exposed frailties in our system, and that's the danger. Because
you know what else exposed our frailties? Albanese selling off our fuel reserve in America. That exposed our frailties pretty much.
He's an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. This is my point. He's not smart enough to be evil. He's just too dumb.
I've noticed we spend the majority of the time on this podcast and a lot of other podcasts talking about the Liberal Party, the One Nation, and whoever else is out there. We don't spend enough time exposing how horrible this government is, this Labor government and this Albanese government, and how useless and incompetent they are. And the same thing for the state Labor governments. And as I said, Minns is the worst leader this country has ever seen. So we need to get past. I mean, the Liberal Party. Okay, it's gone. Let's stop relying on the Liberal Party and forget about them. And if they're stupid enough to vote out Moira Deeming in a pre-selection, they've got no hope, no chance.
Sure. I agree.
Yeah,
no argument for me.
All right, well, let's see how this is playing out, Sam, and then you're the polling man. So what are we seeing in the polls at the moment?
Well, just the consolidation of the One Nation vote.
I'd call it the acceleration.
Consolidation last month or two.
Mm.
And the polls got the numbers right in most of the polls got the numbers right in South Australia.
So tell us about it, saying that in Queensland, One Nation is now getting the highest vote, even ahead of Labor.
That's the news poll average that came out last night.
Yeah,
over the last 3 months.
When you're saying that, you almost seem like you're downplaying that.
No, I'm just saying, but that's an average over the last 3 months. They do a quarterly average.
isn't that more significant than just taking a single poll?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's within the trends of what's happening at the moment. The last 6 months.
But you're saying that where they're going to struggle is with the preferences.
That's right.
So tell me about the South Australian election, because you were saying in the last time we had you on that we haven't seen too many examples of One Nation finishing ahead of the Liberals to be able to see whether preferences flow from the Liberal Party and whether they flow to One Nation or not. What did we see in South Australia?
There's 2 seats where One Nation won quite comfortably, where Libs came third in the seat of Hammond, which is based around Murray Bridge.
Yep.
You want to go to live results. Go to Murray Bridge, seat of Hammond.
Hammond.
Yeah.
One Nation won that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about Hammond.
Okay. See how they've basically there's a 3-way there. You got the One Nation top came first with 27.4. The Libs came third with 23, and the Labor Party came third or second on 27. And what happened there was, what was the preference discipline of the Liberal Party coming third?
God, fair go for Australia. Got 34 votes. Poor old Sarah.
Poor old Sarah.
Oh,
I sent her a message on her Facebook line.
Yeah.
I said to Sarah, enjoy the last 4 years.
Oh dear. Okay, so tell me, how did the preferences go?
Well, in that case, the Liberal Party preferences was really disciplined.
Yep.
And they won by 6%, One Nation.
Okay.
I think they got 60-40 split, which is more than enough.
Yeah, okay.
Preference flows.
Yep.
But in other cases where there was another seat of Narangba, based around
Narangba?
Narangba.
No, the other one, Nigeria. Next one down. That one. No, not that one. That one.
Yeah.
Once again, the Liberal Party person came third. And their preferences got 70%, and One Nation won comfortably. Got 70. It was 50-43.
And Fair Go got 90 votes.
Stop
0.4%. I'm not gloating. I'm not gloating. I'm just, That's what happens.
So unclean.
That's what happens when you pull out of an ABG event at 2 weeks before.
But the other 2 seats they won, and this is where their problem is, especially in country seats. Go to the seat of McKillop or Narangba.
84 Punks has put this comment in the chat, which he's put in a lot. One Nation is an LNP satellite. What do you guys think about that?
I don't think that's any kind of relationship that either one of them want to have.
All right, which seat do you want to go to, Sam?
Go to McKillop.
McKillop?
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened? This one is where One Nation came first, but the Liberal Party came second.
Okay.
And
so One Nation got 35.3% of the vote, and the Liberal Party got 23.6%, right? So you'd think One Nation's pretty safe with that.
But that's not the case because Labor preference Liberal Party before One Nation.
Well, it's got One Nation here ahead. They said he won this seat.
She won the seat, but look at the margin.
Okay, so here, if people watching this, so as I said, on the primary vote, One Nation, the candidate Jason Virgo,
13%, 12% ahead of the Liberal girl.
12% ahead in primary votes, but when it came down to the two-party preferred, which means preferences have been distributed, it was very, very close. So One Nation were on 50.8% and the Liberal Party were on 49.2%.
If you go further down with the preference flows, see the preference was that Liberals got 62 to 38.
Yeah, okay.
And that's where the problem is, especially in countries that you think One Nation and the Nationals will come first and second in rural seats.
Yeah.
In the federal election.
So that's where the Nationals can hold on.
Could hold on, that's right. And it's exactly the same what's going to happen in Farah. One Nation and the two will finish first and second either way.
Yep.
What are the Liberal and National Party preferences going to happen after that?
Well, you think they wouldn't go to the Teals, right? I mean, I think the best thing
you and I disagree about.
Yeah, this is my theory. This is my theory.
Well, I think the best thing One Nation can do in Farah is point out the fact that this independent is a teal.
Oh, well, everyone knows it. I think country people can work that out now.
Yeah,
I think
I should point out that she got 700 grand from Simon Holmes at Court's outfit.
Well, that's fair enough.
It's like, you got to pay the paymaster.
Yeah, I know. But the point I'm trying to say,
Bought and paid for.
All right. So speaking of polling, I mean, we're talking about South Australia. This is something that was put out by the Noticer. Don't know too much about the Noticer, but it said young voters flocking to One Nation on Sydney's northern beaches. Shock poll shows.
That's a UComm's poll, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell us about UComm's. Can we trust it?
No.
You got consensus on that one.
That one, Newcom, Holmes Court used him early on. It was more of a psychological blow on people.
Yeah.
But is this an indication, though? I mean, that's a bit hard to see on the screen from
I think,
distance.
I think in spite of our skepticism about the pollster, I think this poll is actually pointing to something real.
Well, let me point this out. Before you make your point, Richard, let me point this out, right? So I can't really see on the screen there. Okay. It's very, very small. Let me try this.
See myself.
No, it's not doing it. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is the result from the 18 to 34-year-olds. So the incumbent, the teal, Dr. Sophie Scamps, is on 13.4%, whereas between 35 to 50, she's on almost 35%, and with over 65, she's on 32%, with a total of 30%. One Nation is on almost 27% of 18 to 34-year-olds, and then it teeters out and goes down. I mean, the over 65s, interestingly, is the lowest result for a total result of 20%. So this here is where the indication is. I mean, this is a big result. Why are the younger ones turning away from the Teals, turning away from the Greens, and obviously turning away from the Liberal Party as well, backing One Nation?
I'm not convinced of that.
But I mean,
I think this is a peculiar thing to Teal electorate.
The only thing, the two electorates for over 65 would be right around Avalon, all the retirees up in Avalon and anything north of Mona Vale. That's where a lot of retirees are there. They're the ones they're hardcore too.
I've done battle in the northern beaches. It's like it is really a rich, privileged, elitist.
It's not easy
area.
Anything north of from Mona Vale to Palm.
But for any ex-One Nation,
anything north of the bridge, mate, it's bad all the way through.
But for any
all these people are comfortable.
If any ex-One Nation candidates that are living in Mackellar or those areas or Warringah that maybe have left the One Nation Party, I mean, should they be seriously considering running with these results, or you just dismiss them completely?
We'll see how Doug goes, because he's running.
Who?
Doug.
Who?
Doug Rennie.
Who's he?
My friend.
Is he running for One Nation?
No, he's running for Libertarian
Party. Well, then who cares? I mean, they're going to poll 0.5.
We have a little something up our sleeve.
God, here we go. never amounts to anything. Sam, what did you have to say about that?
What's that? The One Nation vote on the beaches?
Yeah, I mean, broadly. I mean, if you're looking at these results in a teal heartland, which we should keep in mind was a former Liberal Party stronghold.
Yeah.
So you would think they're conservatives there. I mean, everyone says the teal seats are gone.
Yeah.
But maybe One Nation is the kryptonite to the teals. I mean, could this?
No.
Not around here.
Not around here.
No. Not around here.
No.
Because if you're a Liberal voter around here, you're not going to preference One Nation.
Would One Nation have a crack at maybe putting a high-profile person against the Zali Stick or against the Sophie Scamps and just see what happens?
They won't put the resources.
Why bother having a fight you can't win?
Oh, it brings you a lot of attention.
No.
A lot of support. Particularly if you're living in Western Sydney or a working class suburb or even in rural areas, and you see this high profile One Nation figure going up against the head of the snake, and you know it's a David and Goliath battle, you might pick up a lot of support to say, hey, at least they're fighting on our behalf, and they're not going to win. But
you could be right. You could be right, but
no, it's not the right time. No. I mean, the people here are far too comfortable. But next year, when they're paying a lot more interest on their big mortgages and things aren't so pretty for them, they're inflation's really knocking them around. might have recession. Their kids might find it difficult to get employment.
12 months time. 12 months time with the state election.
Then things will be a little different.
The One Nation vote and the Libertarian vote on the Northern Beaches. It'd be interesting what the vote is there.
Yeah.
That's always a guide in 12 months' time.
Yeah.
I know one state MP on the north side's a bit worried about the One Nation vote.
Yeah.
Which
well, they should be.
Oh, can I ask you?
It says this poll conducted by UComs, which you said was conducted by the Australian Institute, which is basically a satellite for the Teals, right?
No, it's a satellite for the Labor left. The Australian.
You don't look convinced.
Australian Institute is they're from the Green left.
Yeah,
they're more green than Labor.
Yeah.
It's just the Teals, really.
No, they're more green. They're more green.
Yeah. I mean, they're very, very socialist.
They're basically socialist. Yeah, they believe in Finland.
Do you think the Teals would look at this and be concerned?
No, because they're really own private.
Do you think
because Holmes Court would have do polls once a month, constantly looking at the polls.
But if they're seeing these numbers, what would they do?
Oh, they wouldn't take this seriously.
No.
So, and it's like they
would take it on notice. They would take it on notice and put it on their data file and say, okay, let's see what this trends are happening over the next 6 months.
They might put a bit more effort into doing some youth work, some promotion or some sort of meetings or something like that. But it's like they think that they've got the job for life, like all politicians. They never think about what could go wrong for them. They're part of a rising wave.
All right, we're at the end. Anything else you guys want to talk about, boys?
No, I was just wondering. I was just saying how accurate the polls were from the South Australian election.
Yeah.
Well, most YouGov was the best, but a lot of them were within that 2% margin on all parties. And maybe the Greens, they got wrong with the Greens, but they were about.
But the One Nation vote was a little bit higher than everyone predicted, wasn't it? It was
depends.
Proportionately, it was all good
because they talk about lower house. They talk about the lower house margin. For example, the One Nation vote was 22.9 in the lower house, but it was almost 25% in the upper house.
Really? I didn't pick that up.
And funny enough, in South Australia, the data won't download for another month or two, but you won't know what the upper house voting is until they download it in a month's time.
Got a comment here from 84 Punks. One Nation's candidates are all of an extremely low intellect. Is that not a problem, Stephen? Oh, I think that's a silly comment. I really do. There's no difference really between One Nation candidates and candidates of any party.
Some of the smartest and most focused politicians I've met are from One Nation.
Yeah, that's a silly comment.
That's just not right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to talk about dummies, or deluded dummies, you talk about the Greens and Labor. Yeah, they'll find some rich pickings.
No, I like the Libertarian people, but they're just in the wrong part.
A lot of problem with the Liberals and Labor, and to a point, the Greens. They're most from political staffers.
Yeah. That's the real problem. I mean, forget about bashing One Nation candidates who generally are real people. Go after the union hacks and the political staffers that are infesting our parliaments across the country. That's what you should be focused on.
Yeah.
That's where the real problem lies, because you get these people in parliament who don't have a single thought of their own, and they just follow the lobbyists, or they follow the party line, and they're
staffers,
basically zombies in there.
Yeah, and we used to have lawyers and teachers who were marginally less incompetent.
And look at the result in South Australia. You've got 2 councillors who were elected with One Nation, but you got a beauty. Was she a beauty therapist?
Beauty therapist.
Okay,
and a beauty
now people might look down on that, but I tell you what. When it comes to beauty therapists and hairdressers and people like that, they're talking to people every day, and they know exactly what's going on.
They have to get on with people.
Yeah,
they have to be productive.
But they're talking.
They know how business works.
When you're in one of those positions, it's almost like you're a therapist and you're hearing people's problems all day, because people just go there and they go. Bleh. So she would have a very good grasp on the pressures that everyday Australians are under. So I don't think people should. Dismiss that.
They did a press conference in Adelaide on Tuesday to announce the 3 upper house candidates and the 4 winning candidates from they introduced everyone. 3 or 4 of them are actually local councillors. The bloke in McKillop, the one in Naringa, And even the two upper house MPs, you got Corey Bernardi, but the other two upper house MPs are both councillors on local council.
Yeah,
on the southern councils. Got Carlos Coimbra and a girl called Rebecca Hewitt. But also Rebecca Hewitt is a 7th generation wheat farmer.
Yeah, wow.
A wheat farmer. So down towards Kangaroo Island, down that way, somewhere out that way on the other side of the hills.
Yeah.
But they're all got different backgrounds.
They've all done things. They're all real people.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
Which is important when you're in the party room and you're having debates by all different topics, and then someone puts their hand up and go, I can speak to this issue from personal experience.
Yeah.
And that carries weight when you're trying to direct the party in a certain direction.
You know what I often taunt Labor people with? I say, name me one minister in this government that would get a seat in the Hawke government. Just one. Just name me one.
Chris Bowen?
He wouldn't even get to clean the toilets.
84 Punk says, do therapists understand globalism? Do the nuffs of one nation give me a break? Okay, that's a silly comment. Right. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for tonight. I want to finish with this because I like putting you guys under the pressure.
Yep.
Each one of you, name me the best performing politician in this country right now.
Best performing.
Who's at the top of their game at the moment?
I'm not going to annoy you by naming
Chris Minns. Don't say Chris Minns.
I'd say the best performing politician would be Malinowskis.
I was thinking about that myself. Yeah.
I mean, that's not because I think he's doing a good job.
But what has he done?
I don't think
what has he done?
He's just won an election and very convincingly.
Yeah.
So
you can say at least Barnaby Joyce, apparently brokered this fuel deal.
In the background.
So that's something that's really going to impact the lives.
Substantial.
That's substantial. That's what I really mean.
Yeah.
Best performing is the most substantial impact they're having on people's lives in this country. We need to get back to that. I don't care about who's the best political operator and all this, who speaks the best and bullshit.
We can work with that.
Okay.
It's okay.
Who's the most substantial performer?
I'll go probably with Barnaby or Corey or whatever, you know.
Yeah, Bernard. I found I watched a lot of Corey the last couple of weeks. He's not as good a salesman I thought he would be.
Might be a bit rusty.
No doubt rusty, but when Pauline was on the tour with him, he was in the background. He'd either looked very uncomfortable or didn't know what to do or what to say.
Because you're with the matriarch.
Yeah. And they did a walk down Rundle Mall. Chris Kennedy went with him on Sky, and Pauline was leading, and he was in the background. He just wasn't quite sure where to butt in or say nothing, or not quite sure. But when he did his press conference, the other day with Pauline in Queensland, and he was by himself in Adelaide. Behind him was his 6 MPs. He was out at his best then. He floated out.
Look, he's a very smart guy.
But I'm saying he's in Parliament now, and as he said, I've been in Parliament for 14 years, so I know what to do.
Yeah.
But get in there into it, you can see he's a classic upper house MP.
Yeah. I
don't think his people skills are great. He can talk to people and stuff like that, but actually selling a message like a Barnaby could or Bob Hawke could do or something like that, I don't think he's quite that way.
Yeah, he's
your classic upper house technocrat politician.
He's not a warm extrovert like someone like Jacinda is.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You know, Jacinda's still the leading politician in Australia.
If the polls are right.
I mean, the only problem she's got is she got all these cripples holding her back and holding her down.
Problem is, if the polls are that bad for the coalition, will they win the Senate spot in the Northern Territory?
Mm-hmm.
Would One Nation win the Senate spot in the Northern Territory?
I know you're thinking about the last couple of days. What's
because she's up every election, right?
Yeah, they're up.
She doesn't get a 6-year term.
They get 3-year terms.
Interesting. All right.
I'm just wondering how's it going in the Northern Territory?
Yeah. All right. So if you are on the Central Coast on the 2nd of May, we'd love to see the ABG We the People event. Please come down.
And where the venue is, it's only just 5 minutes north of the main shops. 5 minutes north of Wyong Station.
Yeah, the Lasso Estate Function Room on Johns Road.
Very easy to get to. You just follow the same road for about 3 miles.
So head to AustraliansForBetter.com and get your tickets. We'd love to see you there. And if you're in Cessnock the very next day, at the East Cessnock Bowling Club. You can come along to that event as well.
It's just off the main street.
Yeah, I'd love to see you two up there as well. You can come and meet the boys, hopefully, if they can make it up there.
Yeah,
I'll do that.
Yeah, and as well, please head to commandingthenarrative.com, and if you want to know, more about the podcast or more about myself or everything that we're doing, head to Commanding the Narrative and sign up to the newsletter. The sign up button at the top right hand corner, and you can keep up to date. But for now, thank you very much to Sam. Thank you very much to Richard. Against my better judgment, thank you, boys, for having you guys on again. And we'll see you all next time.